Gutterball.
All right, welcome everybody to Gutterball number 28. This is your host, the great value Andrew Tate. Got my other co-host here and brother Jackson. He'll be on here at some point. And we have a very, very special guest today. We have the prince of the psychedelic underground, the paranoid shamanic, the ancient alien theorist, the hot mom hunter, musical artist Goldfacemoneywatch. Hell yeah, man. Fuck yeah. That's right. How's it going, Goldface?
Shit, I'm good, man. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. You know, it's been a crazy week at work for me. I know you've been traveling a lot, and you said you're currently in the Las Vegas area, right?
Yeah, at this moment, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, yeah, Jackson should be showing up here in just a second, and we'll just kind of get rolling into like just basically like we have all types of questions from all types of things. And, you know, if there's questions you don't want to answer, we're cool with that too. I really appreciate you like making the time to come on here though. We've always wanted to talk to you. You know, I've been a big fan. I've been listening since I think 2015, 2016. It would have been my junior year of high school that I found you. So it's been a minute, and I've been listening like Thumb Nugget, Dose Money, everything from like Gold Moon to just your solo stuff as well. Lately, dude, my favorite two have been Bike Day 1 and 2. I've been kicking those hard. Big fan of those.
Yeah, shout out to Believe.
Yeah, dude, Believe is sick. So let's see here. Next quick question here. So I know you've mentioned
I have a question too. It's record. This is recording, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure I'll be able to like go back to it or something like.
Yeah. Shit! I'm waiting for the cast. Oh fuck! I got Goldface. Oh fuck! Oh shit! Shit! All right, fuck. I'm here. All right, don't start without me.
I just want to say before we start too that it's Miller time.
It's Miller time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's always Miller time.
Yeah.
But so is that your favorite type of beer? Are you a Miller guy?
Man, I change like my whatever like shitty beer I'm just like recklessly endorsing like probably every couple months, like, but yeah, I definitely like transitioned out of like the IPAs. Like I still do like one IPA sometimes before I get to like drinking liquor and stuff, but I just like I don't know, I stumbled on like the Miller Lite and then
hell yeah. I know for a while you're on a Modelo kick. You mentioned that quite a bit in some of your songs and some shit I noticed.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm a Busch Light type of guy, but I can do a Modelo every once in a while.
I just need a joint and I'm good to go. That's all I need.
So Jackson, how's your week been, man?
Good. Fucking same old, just fucking like itching to get Goldface on the cast, man. We got a lot of good questions to ask you.
Appreciate y'all.
Not a whole lot. Oh yeah, man. No problem. Fuck yeah, we can wait all day.
You're busy, like it happens, man. Life happens. Yeah. It is what it is, you know.
It's like that day we were scheduled for. Like it's like I didn't expect it would have been such a late night just before, but we was just like getting back from the studio at like 10 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
It was like we all had a session, like the whole, like you know what I'm saying, bunch of the crew and stuff like. And it was like one of the homies had booked like one studio in this like studio that had like hella studios in it and shit. But so like they had left the other studio doors open. So we was just like mobbed out in that bitch jugging because I'm an engineer, like I'm a real like audio engineer for real. So like I knew how to like kind of like get the, you know what I'm saying, so everything working and shit in all the rooms. So we had like 3 rooms going and shit, like damn, they probably not gonna like say nothing or come, but then eventually like the owner or manager did really come at like 3 a.m. and tell us like, you know what I'm saying? So we was ready to just leave, like no, we gone, fuck it, like it's not that important, because you know most like, you know what I'm saying, all you really need is like the Focusrite and Scarlet shit. Anytime motherfuckers go to like a big studio besides for like band rock shit, like you know what I'm saying, it's like that shit is just for like show, like you know what I'm saying,
yeah, right.
Like when you rapping and shit, you really just using the microphone or something like. But anyway, I said that to say motherfuckers ended up throwing money together and just buying the shit out till like 10 a.m. So I was like, well, fuck, we gotta just make the use out of it.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
But so like that, so I didn't end up getting back to the spot till like, you know what I'm saying, 10, 11. And I knew that like, I think you said it was gonna be like 4 my time or something. And I was like, I was like kind of in between of like I could keep turning up enough to maybe make it till 4, but I think I should try to nap so I'm a little more like lucid and like can use my words better. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I just
Mhm.
tried and failed. Like once I went to sleep, it was over with. Like everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. And it's not like
No
you were
worries.
like trying to blow us off. You had excuses. Like we were on your Instagram, we saw your story. We're like, yeah, man, he was partying all fucking night. So of course he's
Yeah,
fucking
dude.
passed out.
Yeah, it's
We looked at
okay.
your Instagram
No
story.
worries.
And then
Yeah.
and then we didn't hear from you for a couple days and your phone screen shattered. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense too. I'm just like, damn,
Mhm.
this guy's got a busy life. So you mentioned
Yeah.
you were playing shows. Where were you playing shows recently this last week?
I had, you know, in LA, it's like it don't ever really be names to like where you do
You just
shows
kind
at.
of
It's
just set
like
up.
Mhm.
no, well, sometimes like stuff be more like some places be more like venued out than others. Like sometimes like motherfucker, because you know what I'm saying, we throw shows too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like me and my girl, a lot of the homies, like we all separately throw shows, we all do stuff together to like,
Mhm.
you know, at different scales and sizes depending on like what the you know what I'm saying? But so sometimes it's like the purpose of like more of a rave of like getting like a larger, more open space to have like a lot of but then it's like sometimes like more intimate stuff, but it just be so many weird ass random ass spots you would see in LA, like you know what I'm saying, like warehouses and you know what I'm saying, stuff like that,
Yeah.
stores.
Yeah, yeah.
But then it'd be normal venues too for sure.
That's
Mhm.
cool. So it just seems like, I mean, it just seems like with your crew and stuff that you pretty much kind of always have opportunities to perform and get better, right? Live. I mean, would you say you're pretty comfortable now doing it or?
Well, I go through like phases and I've been through other phases in life where I'm more in the habit of performing, but then it just depend on like the purpose. Like when I was doing the band, like I was like in a band like 2016, 2017, and that was kind of a thing where like you would say when you're a band, you would say yes to any show because even if it's 5 people there, it's band practice. So and plus we were like an improvisational like psychedelic funk band. So every set we played was different depending on what we was high on or what the
Mhm.
vibe like, you know what I'm saying? So it was always fun. Like, so, you know, in that era, I feel like I was more in the zone of doing shows a lot. But with the rap stuff, like it's kind of like at a rare form point right now where I feel like I like the show possibilities, like you said, are frequent enough that I could like still be on like a version of like some Grateful Dead shit of doing something different every time. Cause
Mhm.
that's always been my reason for not wanting to do too many shows, like especially in the same city, like especially hometown and shit. You can't really do that. Like you kind of build up to maybe one show, like you know what I'm saying, how to be in Cleveland or something, one show every couple months to even hope to get like a good enough turnout, and then like you know, your set it'll be like, but then so I've never had. It's always been a struggle for me to just really decide because I make so much music of so many
Mhm.
different styles, so it's like,
100%. Yeah.
and you don't know what the show is gonna be like till you get there. So calling the audibles and shit is harder when you're doing like fewer shows. But you know, the way it's been in like LA recently and stuff like that, it's kind of more like we got like a good group of a bunch of the homies that's all like, you know, even if it's like somebody else's show, like if somebody else wanted to do a song or you know what I'm saying, just so it just depends, like, you
Mhm.
know.
So yeah, like
And
a
that
lot of variables. Go ahead, Jackson.
and that band, was that Worm? Is that what you're speaking
Yeah,
of?
yeah, the
All
Worms for
right, all
sure.
right, right on. That's what I thought. Like does it ever get nervous going on stage? Did the nerve or is it like just nulled out by like drug use or anything like that? Or still a little nervous
It
getting on
go
there?
either way. Like to be honest, like I very rarely. Sometimes I'm like the opposite. And like the most recent show I just did, like I was like so the opposite of nervous that I was almost bad because I knew it was gonna be like it was like it was this one this Sunday. I ended up having a good ass time like later in the night just supporting all these random motherfuckers I ain't know and shit because I didn't even like this was one of the ones that like I ain't invite the homies. Like it was more just
Mhm.
like I say yes to it because the people throwing it, I just, you know what I'm saying, was good people. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring the guitar out and do kind of a couple like older, like Worms-esque era, like tracks with no beat behind them. Like I'm gonna just
Mhm.
play it, which is not gonna maybe be the crowd favorite, you know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
not
Yeah.
probably what people was there for. It was really set up to be more of like a metal show, and I was coming more, psychedelic, like, my
Mhm.
guitar style and shit. Even though I can play heavy guitar, but and then I did like one turnt rap song at the end because it wasn't really that type of show either. And like, I just wasn't like my set wasn't necessarily like the crowd favorite at that event, but like I was so not phased, like, you know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
was almost borderline like talking shit to the crowd, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't give a fuck. Like before I even gave them a chance to fuck with me, I'm like, I'm doing this for me. Like this is just a
Yeah.
personal spell that I'm casting like for myself to get up here and just
Mhm.
play guitar, no
Yep.
accompaniment, blah, 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 and not even care what nobody thinks. Like, but like the week before that, I had just did like a lit ass show that like all the homies was at, including like one of my like big bros and like colleagues going back. Like, I don't know if y'all hip to Banky, like that's been a part of like a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
the project.
Banky. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Mhm.
he's had a like Banky is Bad Boy Banky. Like, you know what I'm saying? His name vary a little bit depending on the era, but like, he's like uh he's also like a Cleveland legend. You know what I'm saying? It was like more like and he was in town type shit. He was in LA like for a couple days type shit. And I don't think he's seen me perform since 2016 or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like so on some big brother shit, like he was maybe one of the few people in the world that could make me like a little nervous, not because I was nervous, but just because like I actually did want him to be proud, like a
Right.
little bit, because it had been so like long since the last time and, and he was super proud. He was blown away, like
Mhm.
from what I heard he told everybody after later, like, you know what I'm saying? But shit like that,
That's awesome.
depending on what's spiritually going on, can affect me. But
Mhm.
uh I probably, yeah, unfortunately, I've probably only done like one, you know what I'm saying, like show, like dead sober, like in my life, probably like right when I got, and that was one of my better, I feel like performances. Cause I can fumble. Like I definitely had an era like uh especially like, more like the 2016, 2017, like where I don't know how I thought that this was like cool or acceptable, but it was just like I like idolized like crash out punk rock so much, like the motherfuckers that like really like, you know what I'm saying, crashed out and died young, even more so than, yeah, like younger than 27 type shit. Like Darby Crash, like was like my favorite in that era. So like something just had got into me to where like I would literally like not remember my performances and shit,
Mhm.
and like, believe and, other people that cared about me. Cause it was like, I had some motion in that era and these weren't just like nothing ass shows. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was definitely like good amounts of people there and shit that came to see me actually do what, they're a fan of me doing. And like,
Mhm.
believe would like show me a video of me performing the night before and be like, this what you fuck with? It's like me like laying on the
Mhm.
ground, like and and I'd be like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? I like, because at the time I just did want like, sometimes it'd be a purpose for like them types of like, but like I just at a certain point, it's like, what am I making? What am I putting my whole heart and soul in my music for to not full to share it live, to be able to share it live, like, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, but yeah.
For sure. Okay. And so like one thing I wanted to mention was like, so I know Believe has produced like a lot of your, beats and stuff for some of your rap songs. And like, other than Believe, like, I'm assuming you have made some of your own beats, correct? In some songs, right?
I make probably I probably make the majority of my own
Okay.
beats, like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? But then
Mhm.
all of us like in Dose Money really was like also producers and stuff. So like, we kind of like anybody that comes out of like our camp kind of is able to tap into like the sound that we kind of like cultivated and created and shit.
Mhm.
So it'll kind of be seamless sometimes, like on a Dose Money project or any of them older, like, anybody could have did
Yeah.
any part almost sometimes, like, but so with the Bike Day stuff, that's more just like me blatantly, but I still touch, uh, I touch probably, I would say almost like 95%, like even if I get a beat from somebody, like I still
Put
like
your own tweak on it. Yeah.
Mhm.
like, yeah, because I'm very, very particular, but
Mhm.
Lee's one of those people, like, unless it's like unless he literally like passed me the computer, like, huh, you want to fuck with it? Like if he just were to send me a beat, it's probably very little I touch. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like the reason I did those bike day projects is because he had like gave me some good advice too, which is like, because if you know some of my like longer form projects, like a lot of times I'll have the genre kind of switch in the middle. Like it'll start out maybe
Mhm.
with some more like turned up tracks and like the more experimental tracks will be on the end. And he told me like, yo, you should start giving people like more concise, like one genre, like you know what I'm saying? Like your rock albums or experimental albums should be separate projects, like you know what I'm saying? Whereas fucking you should give people some short, like 4 songs of just bangers, you know what I'm saying? For the
Mhm.
people. And he's like, because people want to hear you rap, like you have certain bars, like you have certain like things that like only the prince of the psychedelic underground can even say and flex and shit. People want to hear them bars from you,
Mhm.
even
Hell yeah, man.
and
Of
so
course.
that's why even on the bike day tracks, like you know what I'm saying, there's even just like a lot less even auto tune type rapping. Like I really try to like in that case, please the producer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Give him what he wants, which has also made those projects hard as fuck because it's really just them turned up dose type psychedelic trap beats with me really just like rapping on them, like, you know.
Mhm.
For sure.
So
For sure.
you mentioned you kind of created a new style. Like during that time, did you know you were doing this, or did it just kind of like happen where you're like, I'm just gonna make music and here it goes, you know? Or did you really think, oh, I'm gonna make something, this is gonna be fucking, you know, crazy new and no one's ever done this?
Mm, I think a lot of times when people like go into something with those intentions is when it like turns out kind of like corny, but like I think
Right.
really what it was just like it's kind of hard to place that era even because like you know a lot of those sounds and tones and stuff have just become a lot more accustomed to our ears nowadays. So it's really hard to place in time like how weird like my beats, our beats, whatever was sounding in
Mhm.
2013 when I was dropping like the Ain't Here and Spaceship videos and shit. And then Dose Money was a thing right after that. And it was like, you know, a lot of the fucking social sounds at the time, like that you would hear in beats, like it was a lot of like college rap or just like piano, soul samples, like stuff like that. But EDM really was big in that era, but it hadn't it was only barely had crossed into rap back in like 2011, 2012.
Mhm.
But you know, I really got my production start in EDM in a lot of ways. I would say for like, you know, I wouldn't say that outright, but like I was definitely I was producing dubstep and like, you know, my attempts at like EDM before I was really behind the microphone, like for sure. So when I would make my rap beats, it just was because the thing is too, like it wasn't like today where it's so many just like presets and like sample packs for sale of like
Right.
any style that somebody beginning could want to like emulate. It was like when I first heard Skrillex and shit, if I wanted to make that type of nasty wobble, like I had to learn how to use a massive and use a synthesizer. I had to
Yeah.
learn the parts of, you know what I'm saying, the
Mhm.
oscillation and the filter and that, you know. And so I still for a long time, especially in my early music, like I didn't even use presets almost like cause I was so like had this like EDM like stuck upness is like you gotta make your own sounds. But then eventually you like if you had to make every sound of every beat from scratch every time, like you're not gonna
Yeah.
make that many beats. So
No.
eventually it more became comes about like tweaking presets or using things in a different type of way, flipping stuff and shit like that. But you know, it's all the same idea. But yeah, so I would say like that what really defined like the dose sound of beats like was definitely like very grimy, like detuned, EDM-esque, like dissonant synth sounds, like, you know what I'm saying, on top of
Mhm.
trap drums, but trap drums not in the sense of like the what became EDM trap, but in the sense of, you know, we was big fans of, you know what I'm saying, like Southern rap music, like, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all the early trap legends like Gucci and all that shit, like religiously listening to all that. So I feel like it just was kind of a combination of that.
For sure. Gotcha. Gotcha. One thing I wanted to ask was like, so Jackson and I have actually dabbled a little bit into getting into making our own beats because we eventually want to maybe start making some music of our own. And I was wondering, is
Right.
there any pointer you would give to somebody starting to make their own beats or like anything you wish you knew when you first started making music that, you would let somebody, a beginner, know?
Uh, I mean, I think it's really just to do it, but I mean, I'm so like open minded with the shit because I've seen, I try to even keep an open mind to all software. Like the only thing I never got into was FL just because like it really was a long time before they had it like reliably for Mac. Like I remember even in
Yeah.
2017, I had to open like a PC emulator because I to run a beta of FL just because like FL does have a certain sound to it that has made a lot of like industry famous beats and shit. So I just wanted to be fluent and but it still was such a bitch to use, like, to run through, like, the emulator, simulator, I don't know, whatever you would call it,
Yeah.
that I just never really still got good at that, like, but I used, like, Reason and originally, I started out making beats in, like, Reason and Pro Tools, which is almost sounds ridiculous now, like, Ableton changed my life for sure,
Ableton's huge. Yeah.
like, for me and what I do and shit, but I still do audio in Pro Tools, like, I still, like, only if I have no other option. Like, saying sometimes I've gotten some of my cooler, like out of the box, like recording vocals in Ableton will make me approach it more out of the box. But like for the most part, I'm doing any live recording of vocals, instruments, whatever into Pro Tools and just making beats in Ableton. Like, but yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Cool. Jackson, do you have any questions you want to ask quick or?
Yeah, we noticed that in some of your videos you said edited by Goldface. How did you get into doing editing your video? And also they look really nice. Like they're generally like fucking stories in and of itself, just watching them. It's
Yeah,
fun.
dude. It's really cool. Your
Fantastic
visuals are
editing.
awesome.
Yeah. How'd you
I,
get into learning that?
I appreciate it. It kind of was just out of like eventually like my like specificness of my vision, but like, you know what I'm saying? But I had a jump start because I had watched Believe for so long because he shot and edited all the like the videos for the longest time that came out of the camp, like all the Gold Moon, Dose Money, all my early shit. But I was the type of person that like would definitely like sit behind, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there would be like a vain aspect sometimes where everybody likes to like look at themselves, like be made to look extra raw and shit. But then
Mhm.
even when he was doing other people's videos, like I would just like sit there and watch, but I wasn't necessarily like just like how did I say like I don't think like I would have known how to sit down and do it then just from watching him. But it was like once I started to but it was basically like once I got out of jail, like, I still was doing videos with Believe and stuff but like a motherfucker be busy, like, motherfuckers do all got their hands on all type of things, like whoever you're working with, like, you know what I'm saying? Not just him. There's a couple other people I did videos with before too, like, but it was just like, what's it called? I just knew that what for the next chapter, like what I wanted to do that, like, I had to, I'm just a high output type of artist and it was just certain things like, it's only and sometimes you could just execute like what you want yourself, like, you know what I'm saying, that you're not
Mhm.
having to ask somebody to
Yeah.
do you a favor, like, but so yeah, I just like kind of hit the ground running with it. Like I hit up like all my friends and I was shooting on an iPhone and stuff, but and Believe even looked out, and supported it and was like, yeah, you could do a week on the low number channel, like a video every day. So I hit up like a bunch of my friends and was like, yo, I'll shoot you a free video like on an iPhone and edit it and stuff. And so I did like a Bad Trip TV week on the low number channel, and that kind of was the start of I had some videos already on my own like channel or whatever, but then I kind of converted that into like the actual Bad Trip channel. Like it's not just my solo channel, it's more like a platform, and that's just been a combination of me doing stuff for myself and for other people. And if I have an idea that I want to learn, or if I see a special kind of visual effect that looks attainable, like, you're not gonna just like jump to the most crazy far out, like, advanced Hollywood caliber textured
Yeah.
3D animation
Mhm.
from scratch, like, but I even got to where I had a understanding of 3D and, like, how all that shit, like, it's been a journey for sure, but
Yeah, you improve every time too. Like they
Yeah.
always get better and better.
Mhm.
That's obviously apparent. So I guess with like your music in general, like with what you make, like what do you listen to? Like what kind of music genres are you? Obviously, you have a Megadeth shirt on, so obviously, two great minds think alike, right? So, like, what kind of bands and stuff
for the
influence your music there?
for the recording, put the
Yeah.
Megadeth shirt under the Goldfacemoneywatch
Nice.
and I showed up wearing a Megadeth shirt,
Awesome.
like, it's hilarious.
That is crazy, man. I honestly not planned. I didn't even
Yeah,
knew you
definitely.
liked Megadeth, to be honest with you.
Nah, but the universe works like that though, so things like that don't even surprise me. It just lets me know that
Mhm.
like this interview was supposed to happen, like,
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, right. Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
But oh yeah, you said what do I listen to?
Yeah, yeah, like, basically, like, how has that influenced you? Like,
Mhm.
for instance, just, like, your music taste now, has it influenced you at all? Or just, like, what do you listen to in general that, like, on your daily basis? Like
I think they say like a lot of shit comes full circle from, because I feel like, when you're a kid, you be self-realized in a lot of ways because like your soul comes to earth for a certain purpose, especially when you're just like when it's nurtured in a way that you're activated and stuff like I'm sure in a lot of situations there's people don't have the ability to maybe realize their purpose or whatever. Like people could be born into a situation where I don't know, and I mean I don't know what it's like insert random country here like that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe somebody is just like the American dream does not exist. Like you know what I'm saying? It is no like being an artist is just completely like out of the cards for, what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like you have to go work doing that, like, what I'm saying? Shit like
Mhm.
that. And maybe, I mean, I don't know if God makes mistakes or, so or if that really is like, and that needs to happen for some type of I don't know, but it probably I feel like probably no, that's like a wrong that needs to be corrected. And you know what I'm saying? The fact that people might be, in situations where they don't have time to find themselves, like, you know what I'm saying, or to do what makes them happy, maybe per se. Like, you feel me? It's probably, but anyway, I said that to say that I definitely was just like a badass, like, you know what I'm saying, metalhead little
Mhm.
kid, like for sure,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying, like, and was always into, like, you know what I'm saying. I was painting my nails black in 7th grade, like
Mhm.
doing all the same, like, so if anything, like I feel like a lot of shit like that comes full circle. But then it was definitely a period too. I feel like probably like Dose Money era and just like, 26, all that stuff, like where I was not like where like punk and metal had like left my life almost entirely because once I started having my first psychedelic experiences at 17 and stuff, it's like they opened up so many other musical realms that I hadn't ever explored because before I had ever tripped, like, just to be honest, like I was probably a lot of musical genres or bands or shit I would hear that I was not understanding or into. Like I don't think I was really like just like sober listening to reggae necessarily, even though I would do that now. Like
Mhm.
you feel me? But like and maybe I mean, it's hard to say, but, for sure, like, a hardcore Grateful Dead phase in most people's life corresponds almost simultaneously with them starting to smoke weed and trip, like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
but or it's obviously kids born into I'm not everything's possible, but I just
Yeah.
mean like like once I started on my psychedelic journey, I feel like more far out jazz, like what I'm saying, like the later eras of Miles Davis and the Grateful Dead were probably like, oh, and Flying Lotus, like for sure. Like it took me a minute to like understand Flylo's music, like, because he wasn't like, even though I had been into EDM for a minute, but it was like to me, I didn't understand like, oh, this shit is unquantized. Like this shit sounds offbeat. Like it just took like, what I'm saying, like expansion of my like mind to open up my hearing to a lot of so definitely for like a period, I feel like I started getting more into just like funkier shit, more like far out funkier shit. But then it all just like came back around because I was like, you know, sometimes part of the battle as an artist is like packaging stuff and cleaning it up to be relatable to other people. But, when I was like a certain age, when I was more like 22, 23, I cared a lot less about that. So, like, even my band stuff was real loose, real like more like a feeling, like, and I
Hmm.
still go back and listen to that shit. But it was like, but it's like now in some ways, I feel like if I were to be in a position with the right people to do like a band thing again, I would try to, make stuff a lot more like tighter and on point, kind of more like how like a metal band I used to like would be or so. Like, like
Hmm.
my favorite band was always Avenged Sevenfold. Like I
Oh
think I have
hell
a
yeah!
death tattoo right here.
First
Yeah, like
concert I
Nice.
ever went to,
damn, I'm
Avenged
jealous.
Yeah.
Sevenfold.
I've never seen them. Like they
Seen
it
them.
was like this one time, like all my friends went and like when I was a kid, like to the City of Evil tour, and like my mom just like was like, like, oh, City of Evil, like Avenged
Hmm.
like, no, you can't go. And I like climbed up on my roof and like kept threatening to jump off and stuff like that. How much I
Hey man,
That's
they are
gnarly.
a great
Yeah.
band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that concert I went to in particular was a super odd lineup. It was like because they came to Duluth, which like not many bands really like big shows come there. And it
Hmm.
was like Black Veil Brides, Asking Alexandria, and Hollywood Undead, and then Avenged Sevenfold headlined it.
damn, that's
Yeah.
a
It's funny that you mentioned the Grateful Dead and like the drug trend, because if you look at the FBI's like drug trend history, the spread of LSD can be tracked exactly to the Grateful Dead tour dates across the United States, which I think is just fucking
yeah, for
awesome.
sure. That's the only reason that
Yeah.
fucking I mean,
Well, it appears the folks over here at Gutterball are having some technical difficulties. I think Goldface's mic started having problems or some dumb shit. Well, anyways, back to the regular programming.
Uh, but nah, like the cookup methods was only being done in like major universities and like high level lab equipment and stuff. And so like, all the L that was first making splashes that was only available to like high level celebrities and at like Ken Kesey's acid tests and stuff, like,
Hmm.
because he was participating in paid experiments at the hospital and stuff through
Yeah.
MK Ultra where he could go steal like maybe a vial and dose his friends and stuff at his, and use his money from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, like to just
Hmm.
throw like acid parties at the Grateful Dead were like the first, they were like the house band at, but what's it called? But once it became like, a popular enough concept, like, and psychedelics had started to boom as a concept, Bear Owsley, what he did was like, he's like, well, shit, I'm gonna just go to the library at UC Berkeley and figure out how to make it myself. But see, the thing is, like, the LSD molecule is not like a molecule like meth or you like something like that. That is so that I guess easier for a lot of people to cook, and that's why you see many more clandestine, meth labs and shit in places where people probably don't have very much chemistry education at all, but something like LSD, it's like, you have to have like a high skill set, but so he still had to like practice and he had to make money to to get the equipment because it was a more specialized equipment to make psychedelics. So, but what he did was he went and got like the starter type stuff. He spent like $1,000 to get the startup stuff to cook meth. And he was just cooking speed and serving it to the Hells Angels. And once he ran up like 20 bands that he needed to get the equipment to cook L. But once he was cooking L, he was using still some of the same methods that would yield, like instead of like however they would maybe yield much smaller amounts in like the university labs and stuff, or even like in overseas, like he cooking up zips at ounces at a time, like on some meth shit. But if you know anything about acid, 1 gram is, $10,000 to $20,000, if not more.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so many doses, like, you know what I'm saying? At least 10,000 per gram.
Yeah.
So, but they didn't know how to dose it out back then. So that's why like people were tripping a lot harder in the 60s because, you would think like, oh, this is like a gram of most other drugs is good for this amount of people, whatever. But they would put like a gram because he couldn't cook less than an ounce at a time. Like,
Yeah.
and then you put like a gram in a bowl of punch, and it's like everybody at the party is off the equivalent of 200 hits. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. So that shit was really causing waves. But long story short, he basically was making more than he knew what to do with. And then there were a couple other like it was like Owsley in the north, and then in Southern California it was the Brotherhood of Eternal Love. You know what I'm saying? Owsley was making, I think they would call it like blue something, and the Brotherhood of Eternal Love in Southern Cali was making Orange Sunshine. You feel me? And the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, their story actually ended up being a lot more gangster at the end of the day. Like they all really ended up being like a lot more truly down for the cause, and that's why they're lesser known and shit. But regardless, even though, so then when eventually the government made acid illegal, you know what I'm saying? Basically, Bear still had his thing going because that's what he was funded. Like it's said that like, in like the early 60s before the Grateful Dead were even shit yet, they had better equipment than the Rolling Stones, who, the Rolling Stones started in the mid 60s. We're like, on some Beatles shit in the mid 60s before the psychedelic revolution and shit. And were rich as fuck, internationally big. And they were basically saying the Grateful Dead had more expensive equipment than the Stones before they were even signed or some shit, because he was just funneling so much ghost money into fucking into their shit. But, eventually when they did, catch him up and things like that, and he did come down, the Grateful Dead had to kind of sever all public ties with him. But at that point, you couldn't stop, I guess, like the infrastructure that had been built through their touring and shit. And so, like what you were saying, that's why them tours continued, and that's why, what you said. Now, as we get into more modern times, I don't want to speak on it as much anymore, but this is some stuff you could find in any book at any
exactly
where that sells books. Like, you feel me?
Exactly. So aside from music, I'm assuming you are quite a big Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul fan. You into all that stuff? Oh yeah. I mean, especially Ice Station, Zebra Associates, like that song and video's got a lot of some Saul hints and stuff like that. So it's really sweet. So out of that universe, what's your favorite? Would it be Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, or El Camino? Which one's your favorite out of those three?
That's really hard to say.
It's
but
tough, man. They're
I
all
really, really fuck with Saul tough though. Like,
dude.
you know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know. They're all good for different things. Like,
100%.
And it's really all one and the same to me. I don't really do that comparing with that shit, because I think they all make each other. They all prove each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure. What did you think about the recasting of Jeff in Better Call Saul? Did that catch you off guard?
Yeah, for sure.
Same
But
here.
I let it slide. I feel like anybody that and I felt the same, because the other thing people have an issue with is like, the quote unquote fat Todd and the fucking whatever, which
Oh
the
yeah.
reasoning for that was because he was simultaneously doing like a Martin Scorsese movie where he was
Yeah.
supposed to be that weight, and he prioritized that over doing this Breaking Bad sequel or whatever, like, but he at least agreed to do both. Like, I just don't know what good reason the original bro, you talking about Jeff? Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Because that scene definitely got so much rewatch value in the anticipation up to the last season of him coming up and being like, "Do the thing," like, you feel me?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, for them to just knowing that the dude's alive, I would understand even if he had died or something, but it was just like, but what do they call it? Like suspension of disbelief. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got over it pretty quickly, but
Same here.
it's just like weird. Like, what the fuck was he doing? That it's weird because to me, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are the biggest shows in the universe because I just like go and follow every Breaking Bad hashtag on Twitter and shit like
They're
that. So that's
huge.
like I've been thinking like that's all the world is talking about the whole time, but then I realized like they kind of are still like more like cult status a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, for sure. I would say Better Call Saul's a little bit more cult status than Breaking Bad.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I just am amazed that Vince Gilligan and Peter Gold had created something like that with all the callbacks to like, how they made Better Call Saul after and they had those callbacks to like Breaking Bad that you never would have guessed, like the two bodies under the lab when they burned it down and how that was, like Lalo and Howard. And I was like, what the fuck?
Because then when you see in Breaking Bad where Hank or Gomi tells Hank, or I can't remember the order, like, oh yeah, it's two bodies we couldn't figure out,
Yeah.
and then they figured out to make that shit fucking.
It's insane,
full
man.
circle.
It's like
wild.
some of the best cinematic writing during our lifetime for sure.
Yeah, very happy.
And I love the cinematography of those shows too. Like that's another, like on some not, what I'm saying, even on that caliber, but just because of still like the type of shit I like to put them. I watch a lot of true crime, and then like lately, like or in the past year, I've been like super addicted to like all the Law and Orders, but those don't necessarily. But I've grown to appreciate their aesthetic, like especially like the older ones, like a lot more. The aesthetic of the new ones is too like modern and whatever the fuck. But you know what I'm saying? That's more like cut and dry, like spoon feeding everything to you, like television, like bam, like, and then somebody walks in the room next. Like you always know what's going to happen in Law and Order. Yeah. But I just like, what I'm saying, crime stuff. But the cinematography in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, like every shot is set up like a painting. Like it's like literally like I follow this one page on Twitter it's like every Breaking Bad frame, like frame for frame, like it's a robot, like you know what I'm saying, that spits out a frame like every 5 minutes, and it's like I look at every frame and be like, damn.
That's a story.
Man, I forgot. I was just on the tip of my tongue of what I was going to say about Breaking Bad, but we can come back to it if I remember it here.
Back around.
Jackson, what are your favorite Goldface songs of all time?
Well, my favorite. Okay, all right. Fucking, you mentioned Bike Day. Love Bike Day, especially Driveway. Really good song. I actually the two parts of them really good. Great visualizers as well. They're something to look at.
I appreciate it. I go really hard for the visualizers.
And I don't know how I stumbled across your Sunny Side Rain Dance tape, but holy fuck, dude, that was something so unique that I show people. And I'm like, tell me what genre this is, or like, what would you even call this? And they're like, I don't know, dude. I don't know, but I love it. I just love it. It's like, it just sounds really good. I like Sunshine Lady is really good.
Overall That's crazy. Bangers. That was one of the songs that I pulled out at that show I just was talking about on Sunday.
Oh, no shit. Yeah, oh, fuck. I would have loved to seen that. It'd be awesome.
For sure. Maybe I'll post a little video clip or something. Right, but like, but that was like some shit like, I went down. This wasn't in like one of my more like trapped out eras at that point, but like my one homie Milk Chalk, who's on that cover too with me, like he just was like, he always was like a supportive friend and also originally like fan. And you know what I'm saying? I had just like I went down to like Nashville just with like a guitar and like not much. Like I said, like I would always kind of throughout my trajectory, I have like some periods that's a lot more like trapped out, like getting money, taking risks and shit. And
Yeah.
then I have some periods that's more on some like very focused on the music, but having to live like more humble. And that brings a different type of music out of it. So this was kind of like one of those eras where like I didn't have like much at all besides a guitar, and bro was letting me, you know what I'm saying, crash on his
Mhm.
couch. And, I think and I just had a lot of like spirits on me because of the way I was living at the time. So them songs just like, can't like it couldn't have just came any easier. Like it was
Mhm.
like that was probably one of the easiest projects
It was like a good
ever to make
release.
Yeah.
because it just flowed out of all those riffs.
Mhm.
Even some of them are sound like classic riffs. Like what I'm saying, that I still, like I said, that it's aged very well considering how
Mhm.
long ago that was. Like 2016, I believe, early 2016, and it's like I could still perform a song from that today. Like
Yeah.
Hell yeah, hell
Oh,
yeah.
what are your favorite songs?
Um, so this is what I picked songs specifically that don't have any features that were pretty much just you. I would say Kit Kat after your after like a while when you drop Kit Kat, love that song. STFU, classic, right?
yeah,
I
Mhm.
put Bike Day 1 and 2 just as a whole because like everything on those is just bangers. Like you were saying how Believe
was
told you to do that, they're all bangers.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
And then I this kind of dips into one of my questions, but I really like Doge. And that being said, I know you mentioned cryptocurrency a lot in your songs. I mean, even back in the Silly Hat Cypher, you talk about that in Doge.
Right.
What's your
Mhm.
take on cryptocurrency? Like, have you ever invested in it? Like, are you actually like serious about it, or like, what do you think about it?
Um, well, the purpose of it kind of changed over time. Like when I first ever was speaking on it, and like we used to always like beat each other up too, like as far as like having not held any crypto from the days when as early as we was hip to it. But that
Mhm.
was like one of the things like where it was always more like, I would be in situations where, I would be around somebody that, because the old school back in 2012, like back when the original Silk Road was still around, like, you feel me? It was more like, it was never looked at as, a stock type investment. Maybe some people had that foresight to do that, but I feel like a lot of the people that held crypto from the earliest era did it either on accident or didn't really have like I don't know. It was more like the purpose, at least in the world that I knew, was to acquire maybe illicit things online. Like
For
you
sure,
feel
I
me?
see what
Like
you mean. Like
Mhm.
using it
Yeah.
to get things right. Like it was like
Mhm.
a
on
symbol.
on the
Yeah.
markets, y'all still like what I'm saying, like get like but yeah, like um which is still a potential use for it, but I don't really have what I'm saying much need to go about things that way. But like but yeah, no, like back then when you're a kid, like I wasn't all the way like Goldfacemoneywatch yet. So if I had like a friend that, and we were like, oh, we're gonna get a sheet, like what I'm saying, that was like
Mhm.
a big deal. You feel me? But he, then that's like whatever. But eventually it got to the, I don't want to say too much, but like being who I am, like that's not really something I have to go through anymore.
For
You
sure.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, I say that to say that in that Doge era, the whole world was crypto crazy just
It
because of
was.
other things that were going on in the world, like Corona, and you know what I'm saying. Just like so, like the markets were kind of like shooting up where it became like a thing where you could play a little like stock type short term investment shits. And it's like don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna name names or put anybody's business out there, but I know some motherfuckers very close to me that's cold as fuck with crypto. Like, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, so that, it don't matter if it's Corona or not or what the markets is, like they know how to really do that shit on some like, you know what I'm saying, on some completely legal business type,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, really play like the fluctuations in the same way of like somebody would do, like the stocks and shit. But fucking but yeah, what's it called? Oh, but that shit, like I said, like any of my lyrics about it is never like, oh, I'm rich off crypto. It's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
like,
Mhm.
it's more like just like, oh, like in that Doge song, like like trying to re up with cash, but the plug want Doge because you know what I'm saying. And I'm just like, you know, like I some because that is yeah.
I know what you're
It,
saying. I know what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, yeah. 3 years ago, and it's still free gold. Yeah.
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 Pretty sure I
5 years
melted
ago,
down the
still.
block with that verse. Um, so I remember my Breaking Bad question, or like that universe. What do you think of the memes, man? Do you like all the memes and shit
Hey,
people
man,
make?
that's all hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's all
dude,
I
it's
really
so
care
good, dude. Like that's like probably one of the best like cult meme
Yeah.
like genres that have come up in like the last like few years.
You
Mhm.
have one that like comes to mind or something?
Honestly, anytime people do that edit of Walt, like, oh, like crying or
Yeah.
whatever, I do that.
Yeah.
That gets me every time, dude. Whenever they do some with that, or like the Mario Kart one, where they
Yeah,
edit
it's
him
a
in a
good
Mario
edit.
Kart.
No, like the thing I fuck with Walt is just like the all around like existential, like it's like the
Mhm.
two philosophical things I always say about him is that like his like cockiness that he couldn't die just in like being the best at what he does. Like I feel like it's always like a moral to like or like it's just like being like you could like having like a certain skill set like can really like take you like it can like it just makes you like valuable like shit like
Mhm.
that. But then also like that when he does die, when he dies, or even though as much as he fucked his maybe you know how most people would look at it, or even how he looked at it, like you know completely alone, no loved ones, no like you know what I'm saying, like
Mhm.
everything that he did it for, he basically dug his own grave of taking that away from him just by being blinded by his, you know what I'm saying, his vision and stuff. But that at the end of the day, when he was bleeding out, the reason he could still almost like have like a half smile on his face was because he
Mhm.
was around his equipment, or he was not his equipment, but he was around his truest love, even
Right.
more so than his family, which is like, you know, and he did love his family. And, you know what I'm saying? He did go through what, you know, a caretaker goes through for trying to provide for their, and the pain that comes with that, like, you know, and him even getting blamed, like his wife cheating on him while he's trying to help her. And he, you know, but it also like is the irony that like his pride wouldn't let Gretchen and Elliot pay for the shit, even
Yeah.
though it could have all the show could have ended right there, damn near. Like, but
Yeah.
he
Mhm.
had to do it himself. But it just was the fact that the thing that really gave him the truest joy was his passion. Like that motherfucker was the best at what he did because he really was so fucking passionate about that shit. And
Mhm.
he's spitting that shit out at students that don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the beginning of the show, like, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Jackson, do you have anything you wanted to ask Goldie?
Well, just so you like Breaking Bad, but do you like The Sopranos? You watch any of that?
I just started it, but I'm only on like episode
Right.
3 or 4.
Oh shit.
But
Okay.
Nice.
I feel like I had to educate myself, like kind of on like the because a lot of my friends always like was into mob movies and shit, and it's like it's
Mhm.
a whole learning curve with like that whole like it's like some basic like I feel like it's some basics you gotta like know first to even like understand that shit because to me it was like the only crime that like was that like fluent in my head like you know what I'm saying? Like trapping shit like that, which definitely so if I would watch like a mob type movie where like they was doing that, like it was that was cool. But like the thing is, especially with, you know, some of the like selling drugs was not the primary thing of a lot of criminal organizations for like a very long time in American history. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That definitely came out of opportunity and came later. But like, so I'd be like watching shit and I like hear things like the numbers rackets and shit like that and
Yeah.
all the like extortion.
Yeah.
It's funny because the hotel I'm at in Vegas right now is one of the original bugs. I've stayed in like every hotel in Vegas, so I just be like picking a. This is one of the original Bugsy Siegel ones. Like you know what I'm saying? Who was like in The Godfather? He was represented by Mo
Mhm.
Green, who was shot in the eye at the beginning. But point being, I had to go watch The Godfather. I had to like get like a basic understanding. Like I went to the Mob Museum in Vegas
Oh, that's awesome.
like
Mhm.
last year, and that shit was like damn near lost on me for real. Like because I hadn't seen like any of the movies or watched like really
Mhm.
any of the documentaries, so I really was like like even the Sopranos, like they're going off the understanding that like there's so many Godfather references in the Sopranos, so many
Oh
references to
yeah.
other like so I just like, I'm only now I feel like old enough and mature enough to like really appreciate that show. But like
Hmm.
I fuck with it. I'm definitely gonna
Yeah.
finish that
I
show.
love
I
The
definitely will.
Sopranos.
Yeah, he's
It's
seen
great.
all of it. I just hit
Mhm.
season 4. I've been taking it pretty slow. It's great so far. I think you'll love it. So
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And that's another one where even though it's a different type of cinematography than Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, because it's almost more like handheld, like to give it more of like a reality show
yeah,
feel. I
Yeah.
don't know how to describe the
you're
feel, but it's
totally hit
done
the
so
nail on the head. Yeah.
intentionally.
Yeah. It is.
It's done so artistically and intentionally though that I love
Mhm.
the cinematography of that too though.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, there's a reason people are still talking about it 20 years later. Like it just came out because again, one if the ending is still like
That's-
what the fuck, what happened,
Yeah, don't tell
Great
me.
show. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
no,
I
I
won't.
don't
No,
want to
I won't
know
spoil
either.
it.
I don't want
No,
to
all
know
right. No
either.
I had
spoilers.
to
No
stop myself
spoilers.
with a lot of the Breaking Bad shit when you said like the
Yeah.
two bodies and shit. I was like, hold on, I shouldn't say that. Like
Yeah.
their
Oh, yeah.
names and shit. Like,
Yeah. Dropping their names.
It's
We
been
all
out
know.
long enough now.
It's been out. Yeah. It's been a while.
so, yeah.
So I know you're on like Twitter a lot and like, you tweet every now and again.
Damn, man.
I don't know. Like I feel like, well, I guess
Baby.
I don't follow a lot of people. Like I maybe follow
Yeah.
like 50 people on there. And so
Yeah.
like I get a lot
Word.
of your stuff since I follow you. And
Mhm.
like what do you think of the whole Elon Musk takeover of Twitter? Like do you have any opinion on that? Like what do you think? Has anything really changed or
Nigga,
from your
like
eyes?
ruined him for me more than it ruined Twitter, but it didn't. It was like more like he was like the best of that world because he was like the only person that did like the tongue in cheek, funny humor and stuff. But now it's like with him taking over Twitter, it's like now we get so much of him that it's like.
Mhm.
But I mean, like I don't know the way it's explained to me. Like he just basically like he a real good scammer. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he not the one sitting there like putting the Teslas together and you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. He
Yeah.
just got the right type of friend. He a good. I fuck with his like personality and like I feel like he's a good vibe. I love to kick it with him.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I just
Yeah.
that a lot of that some of that shit is just kind of beyond me. Like you know what I'm saying? Even his crypto was almost a not pyramid scheme, but or not even more so than a lot of the startup,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and what they would call shit coins and that, whatever the fuck, like, but, yeah, I feel like he got better, I just like listen to powerful people's stance on like certain just like very key issues to me, like, mass incarceration and
Mhm.
legalization of psychedelics and stuff. And so as long as somebody's at least staying within my like bullet, as long as somebody powerful is staying within my like my moral beliefs of certain shit like that, like no, let's not lock more people up than any fucking country in the world. Let's not fucking have psychedelics be illegal. I mean, let's legalize pretty much every like you know what I'm saying? I'm very basic like human principles. I feel like, what I'm
Mhm.
saying, that should be like before I could like fuck with any powerful person. That really turned me off from uh I can't remember like but somebody told me like that this time around because with Trump, I always like, what I'm saying, give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm like, fuck all those people, like, you know what I'm saying? But shit, Trump freed Kodak, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
fucking he motherfuckers was getting money during Trump, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Whatever shit like that. So uh whatever, he spoke his mind. But then like I heard something like recently, like he went to China and saw like how they gave like the death penalty to drug dealers, and so there's no like apparently there's no drug problem in China, which is not
Yeah.
true because a lot of the I don't even know, like I don't know what would even give that impression, but I guess like what I'm saying, basically that uh uh what's it called? But he was just basically saying, oh, they execute even like petty like what I'm saying, like
Yeah, they
this
do.
like it's like and we need to just start doing that here, and I guess he like went it was in like Toledo, Ohio or some shit and was like speaking like that. And and death to anybody like caught with like a bag of weed or some shit. Like, and it's just
Terrible.
like, damn, you
Yeah. What you trying to do?
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you say like Elon Musk was like, scamming. I mean, that's pretty much like a way you can look at it, right? The way I saw Elon Musk was that like he's literally like one of the world's greatest hype beasts, right? He starts these
yeah,
projects or
yeah,
buy
yeah.
these companies. And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing in the way of like the stuff he makes is shit, but then he makes other companies do it better. Like I like seeing electric vehicles being made by Ford and Amazon and all these other places because they're just going to get better, right? Even if Tesla isn't at the top anymore, which I don't really think
Right.
they are. Like, honestly, I'd rather own a Polestar, like the Volvo electric car, than I would rather have a Tesla, like if I were to have one.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not here. I've heard of that. That's turn. I'm sure I believe it though. I mean, like, it's motherfuckers figuring out some shit.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, the solar panel shingles like on roofs, super good idea, but he fucking abandoned that. But now you got other companies doing it 10 times better. So like that, it's like a
Yeah, that's true.
catch-22. Like you got good,
yeah,
bad.
I see what you're saying about like the hypey shit. Like he hypes it up like a motherfucker enough to at least pique other people's interest, even though if he doesn't personally carry through with it, like
Exactly. Like, I don't think
Good
we'll
way to
ever
do it.
see a Cybertruck. That's not fucking happening.
No, I don't know.
That's still
Yeah,
not fucking
They're
made.
pretty gnarly, dude. I mean, they've like, forgot about that. They really never came out. Jesus Christ. Speaking of cars, what do you drive, Goldface? What kind of cars do you like?
Yeah, man.
Uber and whoever
yeah.
driving me.
That's fair.
Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. I like that.
Hey, so as you see, I have some of your merch on here. I think there's only a few times you've ever done merch, right? Like you haven't done
No,
it very
I do
often.
merch very frequently, but
do?
I kind of like stopped cross-platform promoting it to maybe where it would appear like that because it's like it always just like is like rare, like you know what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
no, I make a lot of merch constantly, really, but it's always like it either gets sold at shows or
Yeah.
personal inbox requests, fucking, or just like I don't know. It would definitely benefit me, like maybe in some ways to run it. But the thing is, like I do like, well, I ain't gonna say like, hey, like I definitely got some like, you know what I'm saying, like solid ass hardworking people on my team, like Nixie, who I think was just in frame that she got like I didn't even realize, but fucking, you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying like I don't go, but I'm saying like I do all aspects of all my shit very largely by myself, like to where, you know what I'm saying, at the point that I'm producing myself, making my cover art, editing my videos, you know what I'm saying, shooting and editing
Yeah.
other people's videos, making my own merch, going to ship my own merch. Like, you feel me? It's just like
It's a lot. It's a lot to handle, man.
Yeah,
You got a lot of
it is.
your hands in many pies, if you will. Fucking. Well, if you ever do make merch, Jack and I would be highly interested. So
we'll
maybe
definitely
hit
get
our
Oh,
line.
for sure. No,
Yeah.
I definitely like I could, you know what I'm saying, like after there's, you know what I'm saying, sending pictures of whatever inventory I do have, because I feel like whatever inventory I have right now is like from a bunch of different eras, like, you know what I'm saying? But then it's like when I do drops, like, but yeah, I feel like, at first when I really started doing it, it's like I would make sure to post like, oh, I just did a spring drop on my, you know what I'm saying, Instagram. And then it just got to be where I made so much different shit. And it's like I just didn't even like keep like organized. Like I have probably on spread across multiple different phones that I've broken and shit, pictures of all the different custom shit I've made and shit like that. But it's like it's not really all in one place to where I could. And then because of the way I do it too, where it's like more custom, like I feel like if I got to the point where I was like thinking of ideas and then outsourcing the work to where like shit was more repetitive, to where it could be like, I don't know what, it would be worth it to have us make a Squarespace and be like,
Yeah.
oh, 20 available of this design, 20 available of this design, shit like that, then it would be worth it to have a site and shit. But it's like the way I do it is just so like personal, for real. Like don't nobody else got that shit that you're wearing right there. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, like this thing's fucking sick. I got the Goldface on the brim here too.
Nice. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
dude, it's fucking awesome. I really
Nice.
enjoy it. I
Word.
wear this thing all the time, dude.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hell yeah.
it's interesting. I was wondering if that was Nixie because I actually like your music introduced me to hers too. Like I really like your song "Cheap Thrills" with her. That song's great.
Mhm.
Oh, you heard that, Nixie?
And
He
and
talking about he really like Cheap Thrills.
and
Mm.
I do really like the visuals on that music video as well. Like you guys did a really good job
Mhm.
shooting
Yeah,
that.
we
and
actually
stuff.
we shot that in Vegas actually for real.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, we got a lot of shit. She about to drop an album like in the next couple of days too. That was another one of like the main like factors. Like we like at least one of our like goals why like is to like because I have so much and that's a good segue too to I mean for both of us, like, you know, what I originally was saying, like I have a lot of shit that I'm about to drop. Like, you feel me? But it's going back to the merch thing too, is like even like just the uploading fucking process and stuff sometimes, or like let's like all the songs I could have 100 songs, like basically like 95% mixed. Like, you know, I still maybe want to touch, you know, throw them, you know, master them, tweak little things, but it's like
Mhm.
it still becomes a process of thinking of an album cover, you know what I'm saying, for
Mhm.
each. But like it's like I'm really trying to one clean the vault out, like, you know what I'm saying, before the new year, because it's already things that I'm working on for that I feel like belong in 2023
Yeah.
more so. But it's like it's a lot of both, so it's like I'm just like really trying to force myself, like no distractions, like that's what like so like a empty hotel is like perfect for that, to like really
Right.
just
Yeah.
be like, let me start uploading these projects and stuff. Like I don't even care if they go public, you know, 2 days apart at this
Mhm.
point, because people could find them how they find them. Oh, you want to get on camera? You look like you was walking up to.
Hi, Nixie. How's it going?
Hello. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was
Heck
gonna
yeah.
say like she has a very great voice, and you two
Mhm.
together make like really like awesome music. It's a good
It's
combination,
gnarly,
you
yeah.
know.
Alright, I
Real.
appreciate it. Yeah,
Of
she has a
course, man.
crazy voice for sure.
Mhm.
She been rapping a lot lately too, for real. Like a lot of that stuff hasn't even come out, but
Well,
you
I
know, it's
can't
all
wait to
about the.
hear it, man.
Yeah. Definitely be looking forward to that.
Oh yeah. Um, so one thing I did want to touch on, and it's cool we don't have to
Yeah.
talk about it, just because mainly I have no idea other than like you guys really don't talk anymore, but like Mondo the Moonrock. Like, do you want to talk about that, or is that something you maybe don't want to talk about right now? I mean, I'm cool with that too. I'm just
Good
curious, like, what kind of
question.
happened?
Um, Honestly, yeah, I'll touch on it just in like the, you know, try to be in like the most like, because I could go a whole other direction with it, but like I really do also like to still like vibrate love and like, you know
Yeah.
Mhm.
what I'm saying, ways to, you know, because at the end of the day, like one thing that I truly believe in, because I especially know like where my karma's at and stuff, even though maybe uh even though I would never say that I've been like, you know what I'm saying, I'm a very dark soul, like, you know what I'm saying, I've definitely lived in all type of like, you know, what's it called, like heathenistic lifestyle, like times of life and shit. Like I'm not a fucking preacher and nothing, like, but whatever it is, like my understanding with the spirits, I just have to say that I came to learn that I feel bad for anybody that crossed me, and I don't have to do anything. Like that's
Mhm.
the thing I had to come to learn. Like it's like because of just my understanding of the spiritual realm and shit, is like to turn your back on me is like, you know, I could seek to, or like I could really go out my way more to, you know, but you're already creating your own hell, because you know what I'm saying, you're slapping God in the face by, you know what I'm saying, by cutting blessings out of your life, like as
Mhm.
far as like the people that you grew up with, came up with, that you know what I'm saying, was supposed to always like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's certain
Yeah.
people that's in your life for a reason, and it's supposed to be like treated as such, as like fam. And like the thing is, until like the more recent incident, he had never really did anything directly to me except for constantly, you know what I'm saying, cut off communication with me and like speak badly on me and stuff like that. But you know, it's like some of the people closest to me in this world today that is, and completely rightfully so, within their fucking rights. Like I don't give a fuck when the people that I know love me talk shit about me in a loving, like, because I've done being fried as fuck, and I still continually be like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a far out different type motherfucker. So if like I just like know like my homies is like laughing in a loving way, like, oh, this motherfucker Gold is fucking out his damn mind, like, you know what I'm saying? That's completely different, because if I when I call them, like, you know what I'm saying, that like, if I need like anybody that you see me rocking with, that you see me share their music, or we like, you know what I'm saying, we together, or we doing some shit, like them is my true brothers, like my real family. Like I would do anything for them. And you know what I'm saying, in the most part, like I expect, even though I don't like to want anything from anybody. If I was in a situation, like, you know what I'm saying, they'd do the same for me. So, and we've all kind of, even though we've all had different splits and went through different phases of like, cause we was like basically little, like I ain't gonna say like little ass boys, like literally like little, but like mentally, like even being like teenagers, being young boys together like that, turning from like that phase of life into manhood and shit, like you gonna go through, especially in this egotistical ass art form of, you know, uh, well, you could say like in this day and age, you could call it rap, but it could apply to DJs, it could apply to sex, drugs, and rock and roll in a different era. Like, you know, anytime like music period is an egotistical like thing, and rightfully so, because you have to have your ego to, you know what I'm saying, to what's it called, to listen to the voice in your head and to like create and do what you have to do. So like that shit gonna clash. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you don't fight with your brothers, like, then that means there's a lot of tongue biting and shit going on that's gonna fucking you know what I'm saying, that's gonna explode later in a more negative way. And so, you know, it's completely natural to butt heads with your friends and, you know, go through phases of maybe you see a little less of this person, or y'all just need to be in different phases of life. Like maybe it's one time period where like, oh, I just need to be sober right now, so I don't want to go around anybody because it's gonna make me want to turn up. And so I would extend the same thing to anybody else that's trying to, you know what I'm saying, do what's good for them and shit like that. So it's never even an issue of uh oh, why doesn't this person come around anymore? Or why doesn't this person, you know, post my like, it's never no shit like that, because you know, I don't take shit, you know, or at least I try my best to never take shit personal like that. But it's like it's a difference when you like know that it's love versus like somebody really like is unfortunately like thinking in all the type of wrong ways. But if this is in any way ever gets heard by do whatever, like, you know what I'm saying, like even though like I still,
when it's more
you know,
malicious.
Yeah.
whatever has to, you know, transpire for that airport incident might, you know, still has to transpire. But after I get my, you know, after we get the fair ones in, you know, because he denied me the fair ones, like, you feel me, then he, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't know if y'all know this story, but
No, go
fuck
ahead.
it, I just tell it whatever, it's the tea, whatever. But we was both on the same flight. I'm not even knowing, like, you feel me? Because one thing about me that anybody would tell you, like, it's like I be trying to test God or something, because I'm getting on my flights by the fucking skin of the fucking, like, that the fucking gate is slamming on my fucking ass and backpack while I'm fucking running onto my shit. And I'm getting kicked off of flights. I be fucking I be fucked up going to the airport. I'm not gonna lie, but it's like I feel like damn, that some of that shit gotta be like justifiable. I'm trying to work on it, but some of that shit gotta be like talked up to flight anxiety. Yeah, like you be hating on my swag, like, but no, like, but so I'm not like looking at who's in the seats and shit as I get onto this particular flight. Like, I'm going straight to sleep. I've probably been up for fucking 2-3 days leading up to that point because anytime I'm finna leave a place, I'm trying to utilize, like, make the most of my time and shit. I'm trying to see a certain, I'm trying to like make sure I see everybody I need to see before I leave, get all my files and organized. And a lot of my clothes get made right before I, like, you know what I'm saying? I make a bunch of merch before I go to one place and then not time that properly to where I got black and red ink all over my body 10 minutes before I'm supposed to leave for the airport. I got to jump in the shower so I don't look like I just like murdered somebody or something. Like, just shit like that. Like I be pushing the limit. Like, but anyway, I go right to sleep, wake up. You know what I'm saying? We had LAX though. I guess he had been in Cleveland. I didn't even know. Like I don't know where he be at. He was living. I ain't gonna get a drop on him. I don't know where the fuck he be at, honestly. But as far as I know, like I'm pretty sure he don't be in where we from like that in Ohio. Like so, it was like very like odd chances that we was both going from Ohio to LA. But anyway, we had like not spoken in years or whatever. But it wasn't no outright wronging to anybody on either end to where I had any reason to be like what. And like I said, like I got a big heart, like, and the memories we have, because me and Mono go back, longer than a lot of I think him and my bro Uncle Jew is like tied as like I ain't gonna say my longest friends that I'm in contact, but that in the musical like that, like who I'm still like, what I'm saying? I got this other homie Papa Cherry that we go back to preschool that we reconnected recently, but him and Mondo was a dude, like, what I'm saying? It's just some shit like fucking like I'm talking about like more like young teenagers together, like type shit. Like, you feel me? So
all the way back to 10 Chains.
I'm talking about years before that. You don't even know what the fuck we was on. We was making a song. We was going opening. We was trying to be juggalos, like 14 years old, going to fucking perform songs about like dog fighting and shit like that. Like just like I'm saying, we got memories like that together. So like, and then even just like the growing up we had to like do, just being like in the Gold Moon era, just really trying to do that. Just only you know what I'm saying, like a lot, because we wasn't having our shit together in that time period, as far as like having like B&Bs or hotels sold up, because what I'm saying, we still like was moving like little boys, like wasn't like just knowing how to like utilize like, and technology still was even in an almost different era, so it was like we definitely wasn't having our crap correct to pay for like what what I'm saying, probably like you probably wasn't even finding deals on hotels back in 2014. Like them bitches was just outright like $150 a night at the least. So when we would go out of town and shit, like we're doing, it's a whole lot of couch surfing going on and overstaying our welcome with fans that had reached out to us, and like we would have some packs on us and some things to like what I'm saying, but we really was just like on a lot of bullshit, and we had to learn how to like get our shit together, because we realized like, oh yeah, you can't just like go to a random state and like move in onto somebody's like couch, like fucking and like fucking whatever. But it's all that memories going through my mind, like what I'm saying. So like when he walk up to me at the airport, fucking, I'm just like looking at him like I ain't know how to react, because I'm still rubbing my eyes, I'm carrying my luggage and shit. But like shit, I was finna dap him up and give him a hug or something. Like this motherfucker like cocked back. It was right after that Will Smith shit had happened, so he did it. And I seen later on like he had tweeted around that time like Will Smith is the fucking GOAT, like for slapping Chris Rock or whatever. But this motherfucker cocked back just like Will Smith did on that Chris Rock shit and slapped me across the mouth.
Holy
and like
shit.
I'm on some, I'm on some no jumper shit.
Yeah.
No, but it's like I don't like, I done definitely put some fat cells on too. But like,
Oh yeah. Oh
I done
yeah.
did some time and shit. Like I done got like like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a strong motherfucker. I done like,
Mhm.
I could fight. Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying, between the fat and muscle I've gained and the fucking training I've did, or like whatever, like, you know what I'm saying, coming in learning certain shit when I was locked up, but then still pursuing it when I got out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm looking at him like, bro, if I touch you right now, like, it's gonna be bad. But so I'm just giving him the eyes and shit. But it was like everything he was saying. But I'm also on probation shit. I'm looking. We at LAX, bro. Like, it's
Mhm.
fucking cops and security everywhere. So I'm like, you're really trying to like push I had to be like almost like Buddhist monk level,
Yeah.
like self-discipline, because I know what I could do to a motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to even think for a second like, oh, I'm being a bitch by not hitting him, but it's like I'm doing right by all my family and friends by not going back to jail and sitting on a
Mhm.
bus to fucking Tennessee, especially when I'm fucking just touched down in LA and about to have a good ass time. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But this motherfucker keeps saying all this crazy shit. He's like, yeah, what are you about to do? Go do ketamine and sleep on Venice Beach or something? I was like, bro, what year do you think it is? Like, I don't fucking, like, I don't still sleep on the beach like we did when we was kids, or when that was one of the original reasons we fell out about, is when we first went to California together. We was really young enough to where like I was trying to just experience certain things. We had never been out there. He wanted to like kick it with like, fan kids in the valley and like put his feet up on their like couch and like tell them to go just with the tiny amount of like dose money clout we had back then, whatever,
Mhm.
and be like, go to the dispensary and get me 5 gold plated joints, or like whatever. Like, he was like bossing people, which is like, a strategic, like 48 laws of power, like whatever, like when you're trying to like appear like maybe powerful or something. Like, I wasn't trying to take away like his entire approach, but I just was like on some different type of spiritual, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if I'm dirty right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to know, can you still hitchhike on acid in California like it's the
Mhm.
60s? Like, it's just certain questions in my mind at that age that I wanted to answer. Like, but that was a whole other, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so it was like he had this whole beach up for, and I'm like, damn, you must have had like truly like just have blocked me on everything or something, to not even like check up, like really try to pretend I don't exist, or I'm not, what I'm saying, progressing and going up right now, like to not even know like the type of shit. And you know what I'm saying? I'm far from where I want to be at all in many ways, but like the point A to point B, like the progress is undeniable. And I sure as fuck, you know what I'm saying, like ain't like, you know what I'm saying, like no, like I'm like I'm not here to go sleep on the beach, like, you know what I'm saying, like I got things going on, like, you feel me? But I'm not even feeling the need to say all that. I'm just looking at perplexed, like, what year is it? Like, it is not
Mhm.
2014 right now, like, you know what I'm saying, like fucking. And he's just saying all this like misinformed ass shit that he is almost like it was like built up in his head, recited. It's just, I had nothing to do but just like laugh. But this motherfucker cocked back again,
Mhm.
slapped me on the mouth again. Like, and I'm really looking at him like, oh, you is crazy. And I'm looking
Mhm.
around at this. So whatever, he do it like 3 times, bro. He do it 3 times. So I was like, nah, like you about to get yours. Like, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But I was like, I'm not finna crap. Nothing in the world is worth sitting in LA County, getting fucking put on a bus, waiting for fucking Tennessee fucking sheriffs and marshals to come get you a week, then sit handcuffed in the back of a hot ass van for a fucking week's drive to Tennessee to then go complete your sentence you on probation for. Like, you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? It's like fucking like damn, you could probably cut my pinky off before like I really feel like going through all that. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm walking with him. So because I'm like, now we gotta fight though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? If you anything of a man, like, you know what I'm saying, you gonna fight me like fairly outside, like off the outside of LAX, like even
Yeah.
in the
Mhm.
parking lot, like, You know what I'm saying? Like, but because that's the other thing. Because I done been kicked off flights before for way less, and they've threatened me with that no fly zone like shit or the no fly list, bro. And as an
Mhm.
artist, that shit is literally like suicide. Like you might as
Yeah.
well just kill yourself, bro. You can't take an airplane for 7 years. Like
Yeah.
in my situation, like you know what I'm saying? What I'm about to do, like shit, I don't definitely got my work in on the Greyhound and shit, but like
Mhm.
to get to shows and shit, like crazy, like to not be able to fly, like hell no, like so like that's worse than jail almost. Like so anyway, like I follow him to the luggage and shit. Like I said, I'm still rubbing my eyes. I just watch him all the way at the luggage. I go to the coffee place, but don't take my eyes off him. I'm like doing my whole order, like, yeah,
Yeah.
let me get like a double strength, like large espresso, ice, like whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking my eyes off him. I could see him like start shaking, kind of like, you know what I'm saying? And I just like, because I didn't even check my luggage. I just had, I'm just like sitting at here, like staring at him. He started getting like real scared, like, because like, I don't, like I said, I don't know what he thinking really, like, it's going through his head. He's like, are you trying to, long story short, because it ain't really too many details more than, because you know what I'm saying? I call some Dose Money members and shit to, you know what I'm saying, to let them know. Like, yo, I just see this dude, Mondo at the airport. He just slapped me. Like, what should I, you know what I'm saying? And motherfuckers start hitting his lineup and shit. Like, oh, like, you better not come to Cleveland. Like, blah, blah, like, you know what I'm saying? He started getting like more and more scared. But I was like, I don't even need all that. Like, it wasn't even supposed to be all that. I'm just asking him. That's why I started filming. Like, bro, like, just let's get off the premises and let's throw the hands. We could put it on
Mhm.
YouTube. We could fucking whatever the fuck, like, you know what I'm saying? He just started ducking, hiding behind security, like really hiding behind them, like damn near like it just was crazy. And he eventually like figured out a way to like, I followed him to like go get onto the shuttle he got on and shit, but he was like really hiding behind people to where, and I was finna get swooped at the same time. So I was like, I'm trying to follow him to whatever and I just lost him. Like, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? But I really had to realize too, like, I would hate to be in his position
Right.
of karmically and just period. Cause I know what I got coming. I know I'm blessed and you know what I'm saying, how shit going for me and shit. And it's like he don't even drop music no more. Like, so it's just
Mhm.
like, and I would like to see him, like, you know what I'm saying? I would like to see him tap in with being more himself as he used to. But now I feel like I'm talking like a little too much about like that end of that
Mm.
shit. But like that shit was definitely like I said, I came to realize I don't gotta wish nothing bad on nobody or
Mhm.
even seek out to seek revenge, honestly, because to even have that mentality, it's like I'm beating his ass every day in his head for no
Yeah.
reason. Like I didn't do nothing to you. I ain't never did nothing but record your first raps, literally, and
Mhm.
a lot of them for a long time after that. Like you know what I'm saying? And we was like we brothers, like even still. But it's certain shit, certain like lines that it's just like. But I got forgiveness for the situation, like but
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you handled it smart, that you didn't just kind of
Mhm.
like let emotion take over you and, act out in public like that because that could have been really bad for you, obviously. But no, it sounds like you took the right, you made the right decisions there. And like, yeah, who knows what's, going on with him? I know nothing about Mondo. As you said, he's like very off social
enigmatic.
media. Yeah. And he's kind of an
Mhm.
enigma. Like he's kind of like, there isn't much about him. Like if we were to like say, I don't think we'd ever have Mondo on the show, but if we like
Yeah.
tried to, like, I don't know what to even ask him because there just isn't
Mhm.
enough about the guy out there other than like, music videos and stuff and his music out there itself, right? However, we like to have a little bit more data on people as far as like what they do
Yeah.
outside of music and how like that shaped them to do what they're doing now, right? Um,
Mhm.
No, I always try to speak highly on him, like credit where credit's due. Like first of all, like I never really catch like it's maybe like one or two people on this earth that like I will turn their shit off or skip it or whatever. Like any like old Mondo or shit we got together, like I don't
Mhm.
never do that shit. Like I after his shit, I turn like you know what I'm saying? Like it's like he's still like, you know what I'm saying? I just want to see him I don't, yeah, like I said, I don't know enough about to know what maybe stopped him from being more himself. But even when he did go in like down like a certain like whatever like weirder aesthetic of not rapping how he used to in like Dose Money and Gold Moon and shit, where it was like still had more like a comical sense. Like I still respected the art of it and even like the journey into being like more off social media, more enigmatic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even his last release, like I still go check shit out like to see where somebody's like head is at artistically, and it's still
Mhm.
like it's not even bad. Like I said, like the motherfucker has always been talented. Like he's still talented, regardless of how he wants to channel it, even if he's less. He definitely just completely stopped caring about trying to be crowd pleasing, but like, you know what I'm saying? That does not necessarily a bad thing because I make plenty of shit that I mean, I don't make shit for other people, but I still know how to like maybe play more into like, you know what I'm saying, the social sounds like a little
Yeah.
more and stuff. But like, it's people that's into like the completely lo-fi underground hip hop sound. That's definitely shit he's always been a fan of himself. So to see him come full circle and make shit more in that style, like it ain't nothing wrong about it. It's more just like I don't do that like separate art from the artist shit. And I just feel like I just can't like it just is what it is. Like, I don't know how you switch up on your brothers, like your family that God put in your life. Like, I'm not the only person that feels like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I said, it's not coming from a place of hate. Like, if he were to hear this, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not coming from no place of hate. It's almost
Mhm.
like when it's like motherfuckers be missing all the happy times or like the good, you know what I'm saying? Like things about somebody, and it just be confusing when somebody just completely remove themselves, but it happened. But
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. Well, I was just gonna say, like, aside from the Mondo situation, like, it just sounds like maybe he just, maybe he's going through something that, like, no one, really
for
knows about,
sure,
right? And like,
Mhm.
but what I did want to say, like, aside from that, is just like, we are still like a huge fan of you, like even from your old stuff to your newer stuff. Like you always keep improving even after all these years, right? Like as far as like beats, like lyrics, like even just like your visuals, everything just gets better every time. And you're very
Mhm.
inspiring in the way of like how you just keep doing it, like the music grind,
Mhm.
man. Like you're just on it. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe sometimes you take a hiatus for a few months. I mean, who doesn't, right? And like it's just like how have you kept it up this long, like creativity wise? Like how are you finding like new avenues each time? And then like have you ever had like doubts about your music or anything like that? Or have you always just kept going, or yeah, I could just want to kind of play into that a bit or
uh, I think, I think everybody has self doubt. Maybe not in the sense of like, even if it's like less often in the sense of like self. It's like the reception of the world or like the way the world is could cause just like like I definitely like one of my goals in life is to like rid myself more and more of like negative self-talk. But because I could be like the most egotistical high, and I do think of myself really, you know, Kanye level highly about myself. Like I am very much that type of artist at the same time to where like, the average person will like really call me crazy when I get to talking about how passionate I am about certain things, because it's like the shit really is I don't even give myself the full credit for it because a lot of the shit I really feel like I just channel through like magic by living a certain way, but that's still to my credit. But I just feel like it's kind of like out of my control in some senses. Like I came to Earth for a mission and I've just always been kind of but I think like that having to still never having just like that final gratification or validation handed to me definitely plays into what you said. Whereas, like, you see it like too many times, like with artists, even if they is prolific in an era that it's like as soon as that like complete comfort enters their life, like become kind of like shells, imitations of they younger or like they're more highly regarded set. Like, you know what I'm saying? It takes a very special type of artist to keep you intrigued throughout the later part of their career once they even do have validation. And I don't know who I could think of that even does it. Like, because you know, it definitely even with Kanye for me was a cutoff musically, but my cutoff goes a lot later than a lot of people's. Like a lot of people is limiting Kanye West to his first 3 albums, like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Whereas my favorite Kanye album is Yeezus, probably his 5th,
Mhm.
like, you know what I'm saying? But then I
Yeah.
still, you know what I'm saying, could dig on certain shit after that. You know, 808s and Heartbreak also I love. That's like his 4th, you know, big major studio like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but some people cut it off at graduation or late registration. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So so you know, even that type of stretch at that level of fame, because he college dropout just put him at that level of definitely like no longer any like financial issues like
Mhm.
onward. So to, you know, even like an 8-year, 10-year stretch, once you're there is crazy. Like, you know, and I don't know what it's like to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I haven't even had the college dropout, you know what I'm saying, where like 3 songs on the radio, like I don't know what that's like, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
so everything that I've been doing, like, you know what I'm saying, I'm literally just speaking my life of what comes from, like, you know what I'm saying? But I count and I try my hardest to count all my blessings because I've been to a lot of the lowest of the lows, you know what I'm saying, and been up and down a lot, you know what I'm saying, to where like, and it's always risk involved one way or another with, you know, every day that I get to create, you know what I'm saying, I try to remind myself that I just as easily, you know what I'm saying, could be in a worser situation or,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like once you flirt with you know what I'm saying, death, jail, things like, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
that within your lifestyle, it's like, you know, it's like, okay, I'm still here. So, and sometimes it'll really be like just like the weirdest, unexplainable feeling in me when I'm doing anything else. Like, I can't even really watch TV damn near unless I'm like, I have to be like real tired and know like really like one day of fucking rest is well deserved because
Mhm.
I just don't feel right even relaxing. Like, everything to me is about work. Like, it's about the
Mhm.
mission
Yeah.
because to me the clock is ticking, you know what I'm saying, and it's not I and if God, the universe, you know what I'm saying, say it's my time before I ever see full like just financial validation, like, oh, you was raw enough at me, I know I've been raw enough to, you know what I'm saying, there's motherfuckers that ain't put in a quarter of the, you know,
You're putting
Yeah.
in the
but then it's
work.
like,
There you are.
look at what it does to certain people, like when you give like a 19-year-old kid like a $2 million advance for being just for being viral on
Mm.
Instagram, and it never even was even about the music for them, which is like,
Right.
and then look at their trajectory of a year later. I'm not saying that there's not very special souls that, you know, I'd say another artist like I'd say like like Kendrick, Kodak, you know, those are all artists that even with however many much fame and money they've had, like have never did no wrong in their discography to me. Like they've only
Yeah.
Mhm.
gotten better because they're living for God. But when I say God, I don't mean in like the fake sense of like even how like, you know what I'm saying, Kanye's Jesus is King shit rubs me of like trying to be like completely like cleansed of all sins, but I more so mean like living for God by not trying to play into what everybody wants. I'm saying by making truly like uh what's coming, like, you know what I'm saying, coming out of the source, coming through the universe to try to, you know what I'm saying, with some heat with healing properties in the music, even though like I make more party music than you know what I'm saying. That like I make a lot of party music. If you were to play a drinking game, and here's how self aware I am. But I'm saying like if you were to like put on a Goldfacemoneywatch album and be like, I'm gonna take a shot of vodka every time this dude says Molly. You gonna die.
You
You gonna
die.
off of alcohol alone. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So because the party, you know what I'm saying, is Dionysian, like, you know what I'm saying? I always thought it was crazy because one of the people that really taught me how to be an uplifter of souls and you know what I'm saying, to bring the best out of people was always, my big brother Kick from Dose Money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and his middle name, like, it's like who knows, like that's just God that, his dad chose to make his middle name Dionysus without even knowing. But in some sense, maybe he knew what his son was going to do and be about. But if you know about Dionysus and mythology, he was the god of wine, but he also had a cult of dance and basically like the ancient version of sex, drugs, rock and roll. Like you know what I'm saying? Because there's something in the laws of the earth about people feeling good, even though that shit could dabble into like darker forms. But there's definitely, to me, nothing sinful about, just opening your mind to other consciousnesses and dancing and being in the moment and having a good time and shit. It's sacred. It's not sinful. Like, you feel me? So,
Yeah.
But so I say that to say, because you was asking about how I stay like creative. Oh, but with that said, like I always try to also like, and I always try to keep the scale balanced too. Like for every song where I said Molly 30,000 times, I'm trying to also really make something that's truly that I know is not gonna be no type of hit. It's not gonna get, if you put it on at a fucking party, everybody gonna leave. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm literally crying on the fucking track. Like it don't even sound that good. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the feeling might help one person. Like, you know what I'm saying? I always try to keep the scale balanced. Like, you feel me? And but but yeah, like shit. Did I answer? I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, that's a good,
No,
that's a
it's
great
good.
answer,
Yeah.
Goldface. Well, anyways, like we do want to say that you have a great soul. It was awesome to finally talk to you here, and we are up over. We're almost coming up on 2 hours here, so we'll probably call it a show here if that's all right
Yeah,
with
for
you.
sure. I agree. I feel like
Yeah.
it's a lot to digest because it could always be another show in
For
the
sure,
future.
yeah,
Like,
and we'd love to
Right,
have you on
absolutely.
again, man. This went
I
awesome.
appreciate it. Yeah, y'all really let me go off too. Is there anything y'all want to say? Like,
No, that's what
No,
the show
just-
is for. Like,
yeah,
we want the guests
for
to
you.
like say their word, say their piece. And, like next time, like you come on, maybe we'll talk more. Like, we just wanted you to go into stuff, and we'd love to dip into some other aspects of your life on a future show for sure. But yeah, man, is there anything you wanted to pimp or wanted to say before we wrap it up here?
wanted to pimp. No, it's just and I'm gonna try to be more focused on making everything clear throughout my social media. But if you follow any of my streaming platforms and the Bad Trip YouTube, that's really the places to follow me. Like Instagram and shit like that really gives me like a lot of like social anxiety, and I just don't like to always get sucked into like the forces that like are on there and stuff, like to where can it affects my ability to like promote on there.
Sure.
Sometimes like
Yeah.
I don't really want to just be constantly like whatever, but I just want to like really have it more to the point where the people it's consistent enough, the output is consistent enough. Like I'm talking about like I'm about to start dropping more frequently maybe than I've ever dropped in my life on YouTube and all the streaming platforms. And I still always put everything on SoundCloud too. But
Nice.
I got a lot of, what I'm saying, just different types of EPs, different shit for other people. Like, I mean, I feel like rather than even shout it all out specifically, it's better to just like tell anybody that is interested to just follow me on them. I don't,
Mhm.
those are hard shades, but yeah, I mean, to name a few, like I got a like 4-song EP with my bro, Freaky Ralph. I got coming like in the next 2 days. I got an archival kind of like collection with my bro Broken Star of like some of the, I don't know if you ever heard my project called Goldie Wretched and shit, but or like some of my projects with like, he like one of the first he like one of my Cali homies and shit. We just had a lot of like leftover songs and shit. Like I was just like, let's leave these in 2022.
Yeah.
Before like, you know what I'm saying? I like some archival shit. Then I got like a solo EP. I mean, it's got some features on it, but it's coming out called The Prince of the Psychedelic Underground.
Awesome.
Then I got another one called Slag and Dragons that's probably gonna come early 2023 with my one producer, homie Slag. And then you know, Nixie got this album called Resurrection. That's another one that we're gonna try to make sure gets out in 2022, even though it's still gonna have things going on in 23, but it's
Mhm.
like the time span on them songs for her date back kind of till, you know what I'm saying, maybe like 2018, 2019. So it's kind of like, you know, it's time to release that energetically.
Right.
And then the last one I would say too, like my most recent album, Butterflies and Bad Trips for y'all. I say that
Fantastic.
for y'all, like
Oh yeah.
if y'all haven't watched that
Oh, yeah.
visualize, if y'all haven't gotten you know, wavy, trippy, comfortable, or
Mhm.
just even watch it sober, but I really like I almost like lost feeling in these two fingers for like a week, like from just like editing, like how I would be
Mhm.
laying on my elbow, like
Yeah.
editing and shit. But like I really went in on like the animation and every song kind of had its own anime. But the album too was more back to those EDM roots we talked about. But that's the last thing I want to say. Like just Bad Trip YouTube channel and tap in with definitely get deeper into Butterflies and Bad Trips because there's a lot of shit on there.
Hell yeah,
Right
man.
on.
Well, thanks for saying your piece, and we'll
Mhm.
put everything you want in the description below for the channel here. So everybody listening, go ahead and just look below, and you can get those links to Bad Trip and all that fun stuff. But this was Jackson.
Real
Any
quick,
closing
yeah.
words? Yeah.
Just want to say, you know, listening to your talk, you're extremely passionate about your music and your artistic endeavors. Like, it's really when you talk, it's like this is how music should be done. Is look at this guy because he's doing it all. Like, fuck you guys, I'm making what I want to make because it's fucking metal. And also, if Paul told me 5 years ago when he first showed me your songs, I'd be talking to you right now. I would have told him to go fuck yourself. It's not happening. But right here it is. We're talking to you, and
Y'all
you're a
are,
great person. It's fantastic to get to know you.
man, y'all are cool as hell. It's way cooler
yeah.
than I expected it to be. Much love. I really appreciate it. Love y'all. And where do people watch it? Where do I watch this? Or
Yeah,
where do
so
YouTube.
Gutterball
And
Entertainment on YouTube, and we'll send you the
Apple.
link. And we'll have shorts and stuff come out for this episode too on YouTube to kind of promote it and stuff like that. So this will probably be going out about a week from now. And we'll let you know when
Mhm.
it's posted. I'll shoot you a text or a link to it or
Yep.
something like that.
all right, namaste. Y'all know what namaste means?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Namaste.
Well, I appreciate
I'll say.
Yeah, we appreciate you
Hell
too.
yeah.
And everybody out there, that was Gutterball number 28. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Okay.